What's up, guys? MHhauser321 here, playing some Simpsons for the NES. We are on the final level, probably the second easiest, I would say, or maybe the third easiest level in the game. Basically, it is a nuclear power plant, the one where Homer works in the TV show. And your goal in this level, I didn't really read the plot there. It's just they want the nuclear power rods to power their weapon. That's the object in each level. Or that's their plot in every level. Pretty much, they need a new item. But in this level, you need the power rods. Little green turds, I call them. Your goal is to get all of them. 16, I believe. What is it? 17. Basically, you need to fill up this whole section down here. Yeah, 16 of them, I think. So, things to note about this level: coins not relevant, lives are relevant, time very relevant. You need to watch your timing because you can lose a life when you run out the clock. The other thing to note is this combination that I'm putting in here. Every level has doors that are locked. I'm sorry. Every level of the level, every floor. I'm sorry, I was just calling them floors. Every floor of this level has a door that's locked. Some levels have multiple doors, but each level, each floor of the some floors of this level have multiple locked doors. But each door is each door on each floor is has the same combination. So level 1, and I'll put this in this description. Floor 1, I keep calling them levels. Floor 1 is the code is 14. Floor 2, the code is 32. Floor 3, the code is 11. Floor 4 is 41. Floor 5, the code is 21. It doesn't get much more complicated than that in this, to be honest. It's basically a seek and find sort of game. So your basic goal here is to just explore and get as many power rods as you can. The thing you need to know too as well is that you can only hold 4 power rods at a time. Okay, each power rod. Once you get to 4, if you pick up one, you won't be able to hold it, I believe. You have to take it to the bottom floor using the elevator, not the staircase. Using the elevator, go to the bottom floor and drop it off in what the basement is, what it's called. Once you drop off all 4, you can obtain 4 again as well. Once you reach all of them, you beat the level. Now, all the Simpsons are in this level. Lisa is around kind of randomly. Her head will pop up, and she will just tell you combinations for the levels. And I've done this level multiple times. I did it on an emulator and beat it, and I know from experience the codes, basically you can just find them online anywhere, and I know from experience from playing it what they are. And so you don't really need Lisa all that much. You can talk to her if you're new and you don't want to use the guides or the codes online, or I'm sorry, if you don't want to use the internet, you can use her, and she'll just tell you the codes herself. Homer, okay, is in this level too, and he uses he is basically an item. So there's donuts kind of randomly thrown, skewed about the map, and you pick them up, and when you select them in your thing, you'll see me here in a while. When you select them, he appears and just kills everything on the screen. He kills any enemy, he kills it. So it's very useful if you're close to getting a power rod and you don't want to die. Right there's Marge. She says, "Oh Bart, let me help you with that," or something like that. And what she does is she takes the power rods you have on you. So you'll notice I don't have any more. I had 2, I think, there, and she'll put them in the basement for you. Kind of, I think there's probably a timer, like 1.5 minutes after she takes them. It'll do a cutscene and it'll show them, show her putting them in the basement, which is pretty cool. So that's Marge's power. There's Marge, Lisa, Homer, And then the final one here, so see, in the middle of that, kind of showed it there. The final one is Maggie, and she plays I think probably the most important role in this level, and her role is she basically is a carrier of the last and final rod. So I think there's 16 together, and the 15 of them are in the map, and the 16th one Maggie is just holding. So once you get to 15, I mean you can't get it now, but once you get to 15, you find Maggie on the map, and she's got random placement, I believe, and she will be like your kind of keystone for completing the level, which is pretty cool. I mean, I really like the layout of this level. It's executed pretty well. Like, I should have just grabbed there. See, Bart, let me take you those for you. Yeah, I just like, I like this level more than any of the levels, to be honest. It has, if this level had been like level 2 in the museum would have been the final level, like they just swapped it out a little bit, I think it would have been better, to be honest, but the difficulty as far as platforming is pretty low. You can see I just take my time. You know, mainly it's just about dodging stuff and getting the power rods. So I don't know. It's just kind of a fun. It's a fun way to end the game. I guess maybe it's right to be at the end. I don't know. I have to think about it. Another thing that I always just sort of thought was weird about this was maybe it has to do with the limitations of the NES and its capabilities, but the color scheme of these levels is kind of interesting. It's like the bottom level's gray, the mid level's green or cyan, maybe it's cyan, I don't know, and then there's purple, and then there's kind of like a baby blue or dark bluish, and it's just like it's kind of rainbow themed, if you ask me. I mean, maybe it's not on purpose, but it's kind of like the colors of the rainbow. It's just weird. Sometimes I think the light green level is a little bit too bright. The purple works out pretty well, and the blue works out pretty well as far as coloring goes. But that's kind of like the general layout of this game. Another thing I wanted to mention was the basically it's purple, or light purple, I guess is one of the colors. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when you play this level, there's Lisa, an instance of Lisa. When you play this level, you need to have paper and pen in front of you. So what I mean by that is that you basically need to draw out each floor, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the basement. I guess you don't have to draw the basement. And you need to mark how many rods or power rods you've gotten in each floor so you can keep track of it. So if you attempt this without that, it's possible, but it'll take you a lot longer. And if you don't have enough lives to back it up, you may just run out of lives because of timing. I did that once, I think, one of my attempts. Basically, I got every power rod, but I didn't keep track of which ones I had gotten and where I had been in the level, and so I forced myself to basically die because of life. So I was like, I'm out of time, I don't have enough time to get to the end and get all the rods. So basically, have a pen and paper in front of you, write down the floors and say, well, I got this one, I got 2 on this floor, I got 3 on this floor, so you can have an idea. The second thing that you need to do is you need to use a map. There's a map, and I'll link it in the description. It's a very well drawn out map. I'll link the guide in the description. You'll have to find the map. It's about halfway. Well, it's basically, you just find this level of the game, and the guy drew up a map about where each rod is, and where donuts are, and where lives are, and, if you follow the map, let's say you get lost, you can find your way back to certain spots, and you can find what you're doing, basically. And that's kind of how I put those two together, pen and paper and that, and that's how I beat this level most of the time, using that map. Other than that, if you play it a lot, you probably beat it really easily. One of the things I noticed with the I think it's a world record speed run in this game is that people rely heavily, getting these is easy. They have like a set way of getting it the fastest, but the Maggie spawning is what basically gives you a good time for this split for this level. So if Maggie is in this position where like she's gonna be convenient for your route, then like you get a good time. You get a good split for this this game, which is cool. I don't know. What the fuck was up my yawner? I don't know a lot about speedrunning. I just attempted it for a little while, but I find that speedrunning is easy when your interest level is high in a game. So if you're like say you just got Fallout 4, I know people don't speedrun it, but or you got Black Ops, the new Black Ops game, and your interest level is high, you're gonna want to speedrun that game. You might like crazy. You're gonna do it all the time. You might get better at it. And you might enjoy it. But if you're not interested in the game, you're just not. Speedrunning is really boring. Like the one I remember speedrunning practicing was Batman, and it was fun because I enjoyed playing the game, and I enjoyed seeing my times get lower and lower after practicing a lot. Games, I think it's the Sunsoft Batman for the NES. There might be another one, but that's what I'm referring to. So yeah, speedrunning's fun. I don't know why I brought that up. At the end here, you get kind of like a cool cut scene, which is pretty cool. It's like basically the aliens. They're impressed by your ability to foil their plans, so they gift you with something as they leave the planet. That's one thing I did want to mention too is the aliens in this. Like you see them at the beginning. See, I use a Homer here. There's an example of Homer getting donuts and killing everything. He's just a juggernaut. He comes in and fucking kills everything when he eats donuts. It's kind of gross. It's not gross, whatever. But anyways, aliens. So the aliens, they don't look like the aliens I remember from The Simpsons. So when I was younger, The Simpsons aliens, I think they may even have the same names. They were like Zorbo and something else. Zorbo, something, Dorbo or something. I think their names were similar. Could be wrong though. And so they kind of look like an eyeball with like tentacles on the bottom, and that's kind of what the mob guys look like. But these guys look weird. I think maybe there's probably just different versions of the aliens, and like maybe this was the first version of them. I don't know. I'm not particularly sure. But yeah, I don't recognize them. One thing I do know about The Simpsons is that originally, and I've seen this on, I think it's on Reddit or somewhere, originally Marge Simpson has this like really long hair, and everybody's like, why is her hair like fucking tube on top of her head? But I guess there was a story behind that. I don't know how true this is, but apparently Matt Groening, or I think he's one of the original art creators of the game, whatever, he had planned to make Marge's hair be a cover-up for her ears. She had like two really long rabbit ears underneath that. And I know it sounds weird, but I think his art style in the beginning, I'm not sure, I don't want to say something wrong here, but it was more like, there was something about how he wanted, The Simpsons was a side project for him. He really wanted to promote his itchy and scratchy sort of like art style, where with like animals and having sort of like funny slapstick humor, and just, I don't know, maybe he had a family of rabbit people. I'm not sure how it played out, but they told him to make something like more family centered, and that somehow took off. So Marge was she was kind of like a leftover from that. I think the ear thing was a leftover from that. Another thing too that I know about The Simpsons is that Homer and this is where I find Maggie, or I spot Maggie for the first time. So I kind of write that down too when I'm playing. It's like, oh, Maggie's on floor 3 at this spot, so I know when I get to the end where she is. Okay, another thing I know is that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, his parents' names are actually Homer and Marge. And so there's Maggie make a note of that, and you know from now on, which is cool. His parents were Homer and Marge. I mean, I don't know how much they were to the point like his parents, but I don't know. I think that's really a neat, interesting fact. That's one of my favorite sections of Reddit. I think I got most of that information from the Today I Learned section in Reddit. There's always some sort of like tidbit of information that you don't see anywhere, and it's pretty cool. And so, if you look here, I have 8 lives. This is like the first time since the beginning of the game where my lives have dipped under 9, and so I start to get really scared that I might run out of lives before I get to the end. If you know how many lives you have and how much time you have, or if you know that you have an abundance of lives, here's a strategy you can do. And they do this in I think the world record attempt, they do this. So say you get that, like I got that rod over there on the far left, I could just kill myself in that corner and it'll spawn me in the middle of the map where I can just go straight to the elevator. So you don't have to risk running back, or it just takes less time to run back. So it's just a strategy you can do. And I'm getting close to the end here. This level in the game itself. Just a couple things I want to say is that I mentioned it in one of the videos, is that this has always been one of the games that has been like sort of the bane of my NES abilities. Like I just always felt like if I could beat this game, I could beat anything, And I know that sounds stupid, but it is actually really hard, and beating it on the NES and actually getting it recorded is a really, I don't know, I'm just proud of that. I guess it's just cool that I get to share that with everybody, that, that I can actually do that. I'd like, it's kind of, it's on Ninja Gaiden level, and I would almost compare them both in difficulty. I don't know which is harder, to be honest. They're both very hard in different ways. So I have all 15. All I need to do is find Maggie, and there's going to be some backtracking here, so I'm going to fast forward through it. You'll see it speed up here in a second, but it's just me trying to find my way back to that section of the floor, in that area. And so I'm just glad I could do it. Like another one too, it's the same way as Castlevania, and I didn't play a lot of Castlevania. I played a small amount when I was younger, but I never really got to Dracula 2 when I played that game. But getting there and beating it, actually, I would almost venture to say that game is more. And use your donuts too at the end here if you don't have any. There's no reason not to. This is where I find Maggie, and the game ends here in a minute. Castlevania. Getting to the end there is more stressful simply because of the level design. This game has really good, and the platforming's hard too, but don't get me wrong, but this level has more, here we are. So there's Maggie, and just run into her, and she pops the last one out as her sucker. Or she uses her sucker to fill in the last word, and that's it. Castlevania is just hard because of the save points. There's no good way of getting around it. And this platform is hard too. The game's hard altogether. I don't know, I just find it more annoying. And so Bart Simpson became an intergalactic hero. 6 months later, the family makes a stop while on their summer vacation. And we get this beautiful scene of Bart Simpson's head as the Mount Rushmore twinkling. And that's gonna be it for this whole game. He puts his arms up. It probably says "cool dude," and eat my shorts. I guess I could end on an eat my shorts note. Eat my shorts. And that's the end of this. So, like I said, if you like this stuff, leave a comment, like it, subscribe to my channel, let me know what you think. I always appreciate feedback, and I always appreciate comments. So, one of the reasons why I do this is for community and talking to people. So, take care, and see you in the next one, I guess.